Welcome, welcome, welcome. This is another bright sunny day in Northern Ireland. As you can see, it's winter time here, so we only get so much daylight, so excuse the darkness. So anyway, talking about this week's episode, I wanted to show you guys the KMCS versus a cheap Chinese suit. There's been a lot of discussion and a lot of questions being asked. Which suit is better? Now, the short answer, the KMCS is the better suit. Does it camouflage you any better? That depends. So check this episode out.
Heart breaks and cries in the morning, headed down the road we head. This is how it feels, this is how it feels. This is how it feels, this is how it feels. This is how it feels, this is how it feels. This is how it feels to be poor in America. It's like my soul is set on fire. But oh, I'm starting to feel tired. 'Cause I can run, but I can't hide the feelings that I know I can't keep bottled up inside. And all I wanna know is, are you ready for the ride?
So guys, thanks for tuning in and watching another little video. I did have a full video edited and shot yesterday, and I was putting it out, and within about 2 minutes of finishing it, I realized that it wasn't that good. I shot it at night time, and I felt because we were comparing colors and contrast, shooting it, well, it wasn't night, but shooting it at dusk where it was dark, everything had a certain color cast to it, so it made it very unfair for the test for the viewer. Now, in my eyes, obviously my eyes are better than my camera. It still worked very well, and I reviewed the footage and I thought it looked all right, but after about half an hour sitting looking at it, I just thought, nah, this isn't right. So apologies for not getting the video out last night. Hopefully this will be a better job. Getting to the video title, is the KMCS not as good as the Chinese suit? And basically, I decided to do this video because a lot of people have been writing out to me and messaging me, etc., saying, is the KMCS worth the 200 quid? To answer that straight off the bat is maybe. And that's a very on the fence answer, but it's the truth. I had the money to buy it and was able to get it. Some people may not have that money floating about, and it may be a bit of a strain financially, in which case, no, it's not worth it. Get yourself a cheaper suit. So the next question to kind of get off the fence then, will a 15 quid Chinese leaf suit be as good as the KMCS? And the answer to that is also maybe. So sorry, that's on the fence as well, but here's the reasons for saying maybe. One, there is a suit for every occasion. The KMCS sucks in some situations, but it rocks in others. And the cheap Chinese suit may work in some situations, but not in a lot. If you buy the KMCS, you will have to do very little to it to get it to work with your surroundings if you're using it in the right surroundings. So my cheap Chinese suit, straight out of the bag, was very bright. It had a lot of whites, a lot of greys, and this is kind of my environment in Northern Ireland. There's not a lot of greys, there's not a lot of whites in the forest. So looking about here, I can't see very much grey. You know, you do have these kind of sticks that have kind of died and dried out, and they're kind of greyish, but the Chinese leaf suit didn't look like my surroundings, so I've had to do a lot of work to get it to look right. So just to let you know, both my balaclavas of my Chinese suit and my KMCS suit are both in this shot. So I'll give you a wee second just to see if you can spot them. So this here is the KMCS balaclava. I'm not too sure how much it stands out. To my eyes, it still stands out quite a bit color-wise. And the cheap Chinese suit is here. Not too sure whether you can see it. It's very difficult even for me to spot. And I even know where it is. So let's get you a closer look. So I've just gone handheld here, just to add a bit of movement. Apologies if it's really shaky. However, here's another test, just to show you the colours. Now I know what you're thinking, it's pretty unfair to grab this type of leaf soot and just dump it into the green. And it's pretty unfair to take this soot and dump it into something that looks like it. But that's the kind of point in leaf soots and ghillie soots. You need to hide and you need to try and sneak and hunt or whatever you're doing in a surrounding that matches your leaf soot. Whenever I'm playing Airsoft, I try to hide in places that match my soot. Now in the case of the KMCS, it does react very well to dampness and moisture and things like that, and I can darken that up to get it kind of like these leaves over here. However, if it's the first game of the day, it's very dry and it's very bright. The KMCS, even though the colours don't match, still do an amazing job at breaking up shapes. And one of the things that I think helps with this is the fact that these are handmade and the leaves aren't stitched in a linear pattern. They are totally and utterly random. Kind of like the leaves on the ground. They fall and they land randomly. Whereas my Chinese soot, they're stitched very, very, very linear. So let's do another little test here on how I kind of match my surroundings. Looking about, there's the KMCS. It's quite light. There's a bit of green. That's dark. I've deliberately done that to kind of show you the differences, to show you that actually a 15 quid suit can react better and can camouflage you better than the KMCS. I don't want people thinking that I'm hating on the suit. Obviously, this is my suit that I bought and put a lot of time into, and I've seen it work. People have tripped over me a few times. My own teammates didn't have a clue where I was, and that's because I picked a surrounding that matched the suit. That's them side by side. So this is the cheap Chinese suit. Now, you can still see some of the original colour, but it's not great. But you can kind of see how bright it was. So if I maybe even pull a bit out that hasn't been sprayed, see how white and bright that is? And it just didn't work for me. So the first thing that I did to this suit whenever I got it to kind of help it blend in was I got brown spray paint and I sprayed different strokes and things of brown. So the spray paint kind of dealt with the colour. The next thing that I added to add depth was these fake leaves. So these here are sneaky leaves. These have been discontinued, but you may still be able to find them on eBay. These leaves are just cheap leaves from China. You can get them on Amazon, I think, and eBay and wish.com and things like that there. And as you can see, these are actually all the same type of leaf. I've just dyed them various colours and left them in dye for various lengths of time. So obviously this one here, the dark one, has obviously been left in quite a bit with the brown dye. These here leaves here were just a wee bit too bright. Here's one that is untouched, and as you can see with the background, it does stick out quite a bit. It is quite yellow. If we look at this leaf here, it is quite tonally matched to the background, whereas this one's just a wee bit too bright. So how I get around that is I bring it out to the natural surroundings of where we're going to be kind of playing, and I have a wee look, and as you can see, even these sneaky leaves match really well to the oranges and the kind of reds through the leaves, but this yellow one is kind of bothering me. So today I am using khaki camo paint, and all I'm going to do is do a bit of dusting just to tone that down a wee bit. So there we go. There's a lot less yellow in it. and tonally it matches kind of pretty well. I'm only after actually spraying these leaves. I didn't really like how bright these ones were. These were very yellow as well, and still they still stand out quite a bit. I'm gonna spray quite far away here because I don't want loads on it. So there you go, we've toned those bright yellow leaves down quite a bit. I don't want to do everything the same colour. I don't want to use all brown, or I don't want to use all khaki or leaf green, because that would just make it all very matte and flat, and ideally we want to make it 3D. So these are all tips that you can do to your 15 quid suit. We've added cheap ivy as well. This is quite shiny. I know some people in the crafting and ghillie world like to take the shine out of things. They think it's reflective. However, if you look around at leaves, some of them are waxy, especially ivy. They do have that kind of waxy look and that shiny look, so I just leave it. I've actually just found this leaf in my bag, and it is pretty much untouched. This is how it comes out whenever you buy them in the packet. So as you can see, compared to dead leaves, it's kind of a wee bit bright. It stands out quite a bit. There's the soot in the background, the cheap leaf soot here. I can't even tell through the camera what way it's sitting, so it's good at losing its shape. Just a quick fix, we're going to use our brown spray paint here and get quite far away from it and just start dusting it down. And now look at that for comparison. So I'll wrap up the video there. Sorry it didn't go out last night. I hope you found today's video a lot more beneficial than last night's. I think you would have. That's why I didn't put it out. So yeah, I'll leave you with the two suits, the KMCS and the cheap Chinese suit, and see what you think. One other thing that I wanted to show you was my GoPro shoulder mount strap that I'm going to be using for my Insta360. It was pure black and stood out a mile, and I've done a wee bit of crafting for it. So it used to be pure black like that, and now it's like this. And it's quite hard to even see, so I'll probably just pick it up just to show you. I sprayed it a wee bit brown, but it didn't really take. So I added all my own stuff just to try and get it to blend in a wee bit more. And yeah, fits in quite good.